segment on Friday because it does fall on Friday, but because they're our good friends and they're our neighbors. You should be friendly with your neighbors, and we are with Carteret Landing. They're in the shadow of the studio here while we're still here.
Right.
And I welcome Lynn Schultz again, my friend Lynn Schultz, back into the studio. Good morning, Lynn.
Good morning.
And I'll tell you, both you and Ryan, over the past weeks, months, when we've had to this kind of new protocol and pivot, you guys have been hitting it out of the park, bringing in different guests to talk, sometimes in studio and like today on the phone. And I want to bring in our phone guest. And actually, I'll let you introduce our guest to the audience today, Lynn.
Wonderful. Our guest this morning is somebody that I've known, I think, for about 11, 12 years and has just been an inspiration. But as you said, resume is just out of the park with everything that Mary Lou Infinito has done. And good morning, Mary Lou.
Good morning, folks.
Hi, Mary Lou. Welcome to
Good morning,
Welcome to Coastal Daybreak. I'm Mike, and of course, you know Lynn. So, among the things I was given here as far as your resume, we'll touch on most of this, but I want to get to the business at hand and talk a little bit about. First, give the audience an idea of your professional background, and then also we want to talk about advanced directives. Mm-hmm. So, I'll throw it over to you, Mary Lou. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move into advanced directives.
Okay, great. Well, I'm honored and happy to be here, although here is different than where you are, but we're all together in this together.
Yep.
I am a nurse by background, and I work for Vidant Health as one of the outreach coordinators for end-of-life and advanced directives. We do education in the community about why everyone over the age of 18 should have in place an advanced directive at all times.
So, okay, I had to ask Lynn the definition in layman terms. What's advanced directive? What is advanced directive?
Advanced directives, in the term advanced directive is any one of the technical forms that are used for you to put your wishes in writing for helping healthcare providers who are caring for you when you can't speak for yourself. So if you can say, Doc, I want this, I don't want that, then that's what they're going to listen to. But if you are unresponsive and unable to communicate, you've been in a bad car accident, you've been hit by a bus, whatever, then the directive tells them who is my person, who is my voice, who is my advocate, and that person is called your healthcare power of attorney, which is different than the legal term power of attorney for who's in charge of your money and your assets and those things. That's not what we work on and teach about and help people put into place.
Okay.
We work on your health care.
Okay, so somebody listening just before you explained or broke out that definition might say, hey, I have a will, and it's explained in there. But it's different. You're talking about a separate document that an 18-year-old might say, what do I need that for? But that same 18-year-old could be tragically in an automobile wreck and left unconscious and paralyzed. Who knows? And then that's where that lack of document would be would be bad at that point for that individual. They didn't have their ducks in a row, so to speak. Okay.
Correct. And so the reality is you may have a healthcare power of attorney in place if you have a will, because you may have been working with one of the attorneys who also helps with that, but it is not required to use an attorney to complete these specific documents. These documents require different authorization to make them be active. So some attorneys do it as part of a package, an estate package, where here's your power of attorney, here's your healthcare power of attorney, your living will. That's the other form of advanced directive that we teach about. And really, as much as I love being here, I think Lynn will agree with me that what we try to make sure people understand is they won't get everything they need from listening to our show today, as good as the three of us may be.
Well,
that is true.
on that note, then, Mary Lou, just to get it out there now, so it starts to sink into people. How can people get more information, or can they actually contact you directly?
Well, there's lots of things that we do. What we do is community education.
Okay.
So we go places and do this at this moment when the governor has us not grouping together for educational sessions for safety. People can go online to www.vidanthealth.com health.com/advanced care. And Lynn will give you that email address if you want to be able, our website to be able to post it. People can look for the link that says download a toolkit. And what we supply for people is the opportunity for them to sit and think over a cup of coffee, what would I like my end-of-life care to look like? Our goal at Vidant Health is that we work with every regional hospital around. So I do programs with Carteret Health and Carolina East. I do programs with assisted livings like Carteret Landing, where they will host a community event and have people come in and learn and understand, as well as the senior centers and churches and things like that. So that what that means is people can start thinking about it exactly as you're saying now, Mike, while they're home and they're thinking about it this morning. They can look it up and start thinking about it, reading through the package, which is a toolkit to help them understand what should they be thinking about, because this is really not a one and done. People don't sit down, read the document, and say, oh, let me fill this out. I'm all done here.
Yeah, imagine. Have you, Mary Lou, have you experienced over the past couple months, in light of the COVID-19, are more people becoming cognizant of this and saying, I probably need to maybe get my, affairs in order, which, I haven't done anything, and for all age groups, but particularly people who have been targeted, with this virus, those with underlying medical conditions and people over the age of 60. Have you seen an uptick in those demographics of people searching and trying to reach out to you for this?
Yes, what we find is more people, when we do educational programs, we say everyone should do this because what if? And we use as our what if you were hit by a bus, or what if there was some tragic trauma accident. We never thought to put into our script, what if there was a pandemic?
Right.
And so now there is one, and it's making people go, what if there's a pandemic? And so, because in the middle of a health crisis, that's not the time to be thinking about, who would I want to be my healthcare power of attorney? Because it all has to be talked about and thought about and done ahead of time and paperwork in place. We're in a bad situation where it's difficult for a person who's a healthcare power of attorney to even be present in the land of COVID-19. People can't even have visitors. So a place like a facility, like an assisted living or a hospital, they have to know who's the go-to. Who do we call? Who do we talk to have your voice, to have your back, to know what it is that you want?
When we talk in the legal world, and we have programming on this radio station with Harvell and Collins. They come in each Tuesday and talk, and they talk about power of attorney and durable power of attorney, and they always talk about having a deep bench as far as somebody who's going to handle it, because you may have person A as your primary, but that person, they may move, may die, who knows? Life changes. They suggest having a deep bench, 1, 2, or 3 people, so that if the first 2 choices you have are no longer available, you have someone to go to. Is that the same for a healthcare power of attorney? Would you recommend that?
Yes, I've never used that expression, having a deep bench, but I like it a lot.
You can use that. I'll allow you to use that.
Correct. Thank you so much. I'll pay royalties on that one.
Okay.
That's exactly what we want, because, well, first of all, people will often say, oh, I don't need anyone else. I'm just going to have my spouse.
Right.
And I will say to them flat out, oh, that is so romantic. That is so sweet. Do you spend a lot of time together? Oh, yes, we're together all the time. Do you think it could be possible you would be in the car together when you were in an accident?
Yeah.
And it just makes people go, oh, right, I guess that is possible, and so there should always be. And as you say, a person can predecease you, or a person could become cognitively impaired and no longer able to assist you, even though they may be here with us. That could be, a person shouldn't be in charge of their own affairs, certainly shouldn't be in charge of yours.
Yeah, very good. Hey, we're talking with Mary Lou Infinito. She's a nurse with Vidant Health. And were you a former oncology nurse? Do I understand that correctly? Were you in
I was.
oncology?
Yes, I was.
Very good. I'm learning about you, and I have some other little tidbits here I'm going to throw out at you too to show you how brilliant I am about your background here. Not to
Which
get
I had nothing to do with,
not to
I'm
get
sure.
creepy on this, but we have Lynn Schultz in the studio from Carteret Landing. I'm curious, Lynn, when folks when people approach you about becoming a resident of Carteret Landing and the family, you have that whole conversation. Are these some of the things you bring up with prospective residents?
Absolutely.
They may already have this in place, but do you find sometimes they don't?
Most do have this in place, but exactly, there are some that come in and have not thought ahead. Maybe they live here, family lives out of state, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. They haven't really thought about it. And or, as you just said, I've got my husband, my wife, we've got it taken care of. So I think that's one of the most important messages that we're going to get out today is to have that deep bench to go a little further. But it is definitely something that is talked about upon move-in.
It's important, and it's one of those topics that we're all mortal, but we think we're immortal, and we just don't want to talk it off and talk about it. And I suppose, Mary Lou, it's one of those things too. If someone has a personality that is such that they're procrastinators, those are the ones you really have to spend a little bit more time, penetrate that thick skull, so to speak, to show them, this is, we're all at some point going to meet the end, and you need to have your affairs in place for that time.
And interesting that you could think it was the procrastinators. In reality, I will tell you that for everyone, because it's not a one and done, it's a process. If I entered a room of 100 people in a church or a neighborhood group or a assisted living was hosting us, if I was at Carteret Landing, if I handed out documents to 100 people and said, let's all fill these out, the real reality is people might have a document, but it wouldn't be a good document. A good document comes after thoughtful thinking on your part about what you want, and then step 2 is having conversations with those people. It's not helpful when a call goes from the emergency room. Mrs. Smith, I'm calling you because Mrs. Jones named you as her healthcare power of attorney. Oh,
yeah,
you didn't
surprised.
know that you're her healthcare power of attorney?
Right.
Yeah, I can see how that.
It's terrible because then there's a big burden put on people. What would they even want? How do I make these decisions? I don't even know. So that's not reasonable. It's not smart, but it's really not reasonable either.
Interesting. Hadn't thought of that scenario. Nasty. Let's take a break here. It's 7:44. Okay. We'll come back, and Mary Lou, I hope you can stay with us for the entire segment here. We'll be back in a couple minutes. We have you on the line here, talking with Mary Lou Infinito. She's a nurse with Vident Health, and we're talking about advanced directives along with Lynn Schultz from Carteret Landing. If you'd like to talk to Lynn after the show, you can always do that. 252-773-0980. Or go online to ridgecare.com for more information on Carteret Landing. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Hi, this is Lynn Schultz from Carteret Landing Assisted Living and Memory Care. Our team members have worked diligently and bravely on the front lines of COVID-19. They're the heroes you want on your side, whether you're facing a global pandemic or experiencing the daily struggles that come with age. In the good times and the bad, Carteret Landing is the senior care partner you can trust. Please give us a call at 252-773-0980.
In over 30 years of practice and 15 years on the radio, the respected law firm of Harvell & Collins has demystified the law with a professional and compassionate touch. Cecil Harvell and Wes Collins, along with associates Andrew Foster, Sam Morris, and Julie Sakeley, practice in all areas of civil law, including estate planning, estate-related matters, tax law, elder law, collections, and foreclosures, as well as civil trial practice in these and all other civil matters. Learn more online at harvellandcollins.com and call to arrange your free initial consultation at 252-726-9050. Plus, Cecil Harvell and Wes Collins answer your questions live each Tuesday morning at 7:30 on Let's Talk Legal on the Talk Station.
Hey, I got a 52-inch above-ground pool with a small deck around it and a self-closing gate at the top of the deck but I don't have the whole yard fenced in.
For the right advice at the right time, call on Harvell and Collins, attorneys at law, 1107 Bridges Street in Morehead City. We're talking to John White of Carteret Heating and Cooling about geothermal heating and cooling systems. John, I didn't think they would work here.
Eastern North Carolina is one of the best places because the water table here is so high that we have a saturated situation, and so you get 3 times the amount of BTUs transferred through something that's damp or wet.
And with a 26% federal tax credit, the investment makes a lot more sense.
Yes, geothermal is 70% renewable energy. It also is about half the cost to operate of a very, very nice air-to-air system.
So the payback on the investment's pretty quick.
It is, and we can lay that out for you, how much you're investing, what your cost of operation would be over the year's savings, and also maintenance. Because these systems, by the federal government, underwriters, laboratories, and everything, the life expectancy of these systems are 24 and a half years.
So how do our listeners get in touch with Carteret Heating and Cooling?
You can call us locally at 252-393-7712. You can also see us on the web at carteretheatingandcooling.com.
I'm Leon Nafok, co-creator of the hit podcast Slow Burn. I'm here to tell you about a new podcast I'm working on. It's called 5 to 4, an irreverent look at the U.S. Supreme Court.
Question here is whether sentencing someone to death under this rule violates the Eighth Amendment, which prohibits cruel and unusual punishment.
Every week, Peter, Rhiannon, and Michael are going to take on a legally dubious Supreme Court decision.
Right. Yeah. That's a great point.
Listen and subscribe to 5 to 4, free,
Like, how simple is that?
wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to our senior moment. With us in studio is Lynn Schultz from Carteret Landing. And again, if you want to reach Carteret Landing after the show, or we'll take your calls today too, call the Carteret Landing at 252-773-0980 or go online to ridgecare.com. And on the line with us during this conversation, we're talking about advanced directives is Mary Lou Infinito, and she's the coordinator community outreach for Vidant Health. I aired when I just said, "Hey, she's a nurse," But
Well, she is,
once
but-
a nurse, always. I can say that. Mary Lou, because my
That's
wife
right.
is a retired registered nurse, so I know
There you go.
the value and the love that nurses have for their patients and everything they do. So I'm curious, a couple of things that you brought up earlier, talking about the documents in an advanced directive. Is there a charge? Is there any money that's involved in creating these documents? Is there a cost?
That is a great question, because one of the hindering factors for people getting it done is they think they can't afford it. But in fact, it's not a document that requires any financial transaction. They can, like when I gave you the website for vidanthealth.com/advanced care, when they go there, they can download it. What's involved depends on when they get it done. Realistically, the North Carolina law has been a notary and 2 witnesses.
Okay.
So depending on where you do that, but it does not have to be something that's expensive or cost prohibitive in any way.
I think people.
There's lots of places.
Yeah, I'm sure people kind of have this misrepresentation or misnomer about it's a document. It sounds legal. I got to go to a law firm and do it, and we've already talked about that. No, you don't. Now, you did give the illustration or the scenario of Mrs. Smith in the hospital who has designated Mrs. Jones as her power of attorney, health power of attorney.
Healthcare power of attorney.
Healthcare. So when you create these documents, I would imagine, is it advisable to make several sets of them for anybody who is mentioned in these documents, i.e. your healthcare power of attorney? So if
what happens often is people think of it as the same as their will, and they need to put it in their safe deposit box, and people will say all the important documents for when at the end of my life are in the safe deposit box or in the safe or whatever, where they're of no help in the safe deposit box at 3:00 in the morning when there's a healthcare emergency. The documents not only need to be discussed before they're completed, but then shared. We teach people and encourage them how to keep a list of who they share it with, so that if they change their documents, they know who to go back and reshare a new document with. People, you may find this to be true if you think it through for a moment. You've known someone for 20 or 30 years and they're your healthcare power of attorney, and all of a sudden you kind of look back and you realize you haven't talked to that person in 5 years. you lived near each other, you were all together all the time, and then all of a sudden one person moved and life just changed, and maybe they're just not the best choice anymore. Not that they're a bad choice, but geographically they're far away, they don't know you, all those things. So when you make a new document, it's not good for the person who's currently the healthcare power of attorney and the person who thinks they're the healthcare power of attorney to both think that. They should both know the facts, and they should both have a copy. And it's totally reasonable to say, I updated this form to someone more local, and I hope here's a new copy that says so-and-so is my new healthcare power of attorney, and I hope that you will support them if something ever happens to me. People shouldn't find it out in the emergency room, because often in the emergency room is where families are ripped apart thinking, what do you mean I'm not the person? I'm the oldest son, or I'm the doctor, or I'm the lawyer. Everybody has a reason why they think they should be the person. And the reality should be, it's who mama picked. It's not who you think it should be.
So I mean, literally, what you're saying, Mary Lou, is you want to get everybody on the same page. Literally, as this document is printed on paper on this page. For Vident Health, of course, is a trusted source, and you've got the resume to back that up, and you're the coordinator of community outreach. But if someone they're listening to this and they're hearing this maybe for the first time, or they've heard it a little bit before, are there publications, are there primers out there, like, for lack of a better word, advanced directives for dummies? Is there some sort of step by step that someone can read for themselves and just kind of get a basic understanding, a foundation, so to speak, maybe before they approach you or go onto the website?
Yes, and actually on our website we have videos, because some people prefer to learn that way. Some people prefer to read it themselves. North Carolina Legal Aid has done an entire video if you want to go there and look at that video. The helpful part is that the North Carolina legal aid system uses the Vident toolkit because they find it so easy for people to understand. Okay. There are programs that legal aid does in the local libraries and in facilities that support them, where there's an attorney available to answer questions. People that are members of the State Employee Credit Union, they have a whole program that puts together educational information about both advanced directives and estate planning as part of advanced directives and all that. So yes, there's lots of resources that are available to have both videos as well as educational conversation. What we talk about is it's less about what everybody else thinks how you should do it and more what you're looking for. Having those conversations with your family. People are having all these Zoom meetings. This would be a great topic for a Zoom meeting. Everybody in a family understanding what it is that everybody wants and how do we make sure that those are the things that happen. So what someone wants when they're 20 and healthy and young is different than what someone wants when they're 100 and they've had 17 heart attacks and they are progressively declining over time, and that would be an entirely different scenario. They may want to be able to have the support to die peacefully at home. That may be what they're looking for, rather than going back and forth to the emergency room on a regular basis. What we all want is what's best for the person who's involved.
That's right.
It's a good point. And Lynn, you're the residents at Carteret Landing over the past four months or so. Are we saying that right? 4 months, March, April? Yeah, something like that.
Just about.
Have really gone, have really scaled up as far as their digital skills and online. So perhaps for those that haven't thought about this, and there might be one or two over there. Maybe this is something that you can, get
that's a great idea.
You and Ryan to get them online and check out what's available at Vident Health, because it sounds like Mary Lee. When I asked about the primer, it sounds like you've already got that toolbox already in place, and you can
yes, lots of resources, and we send people to other places.
Yep.
There's a program called 5 Wishes. There's the Conversation Project. There's movies. There's Atul Gawande is a fabulous author who wrote the book Being Mortal, and then Frontline did a documentary on his book Being Mortal, which talks about end-of-life care and advanced directives, and it is a powerful movie, but only 40 minutes for people to be able to watch.
That's okay.
So that's a great resource online also.
We're going to take a short break here, Mary Lou. We'll be back in a minute or two. I hope you can stand by here because I have one more question for you. We're with Lynn Schultz from Carteret Landing. You can reach Lynn at 252-773-0980 or go online to ridgecare.com. We'll be right back.
Are you prepared financially? Hi, I'm Greg Hicks.
Join Greg on The Greg Hicks Show, Wednesdays at 7:30 on FM 107 and AM 1240.
Our firm has been around over 30 years, and boy, do we have some stories to share. Listen this week, and you will find out as we share our memories with you.
Listen Wednesdays at 7:30 for The Greg Hicks Show. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group Incorporated, 100 East 6 Forks Road, Suite 200, Raleigh, NC 27609. Member FINRA SIPC, affiliated with Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC.
Hi, this is Lynn Schultz from Carteret Landing Assisted Living and Memory Care. Our team members have worked diligently and bravely on the front lines of COVID-19. They're the heroes you want on your side, whether you're facing a global pandemic or experiencing the daily struggles that come with age. In the good times and the bad, Carteret Landing is the senior care partner you can trust. Please give us a call at 252-773-0980.
If you're in the market for new furniture, look no further than Sound Furniture and Appliance. We have all the latest styles, including Revolution Performance fabrics. These fabrics are made in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, contain no PFCs, and are virtually stain-proof. We also carry Sombrella for those indoor or outdoor uses, as well as traditional and coastal fabrics. At Sound Furniture and Appliance, we're proud that we've been in the furniture and appliance business for over 45 years. Our goal is to offer the best products and service to our customers at exceptional prices. Whether you're furnishing your year-round residence, beach house, condo, or office, we have the furnishings to fit any style. Let our sales and design team assist you with product and fabric selection, as well as artwork and accessories that will complement your choices. Let us put our experience to work for you. Sound Furniture and Appliance. Quality at exceptional prices. 600 Cedar Point Boulevard, Cedar Point, NC.
I'm a born fishing, yes, I'm born fishing, and my baby born fishing to play the blues.
Hi, this is Dr. Bogus of the Dr. Bogus Fishing Show, heard live on Coastal Daybreak every Monday morning, 7:30 on the talk station. And now the Best of Dr. Bogus Fishing Show is on every Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Now you can get twice the Bogus live on Monday morning at 7:30, part of Coastal Daybreak, and the Best of Dr. Bogus Fishing Show heard Sunday morning at 6 a.m. only on the talk station.
Okay, real quickly, Lynn Schultz, anything you want to wrap up with?
Absolutely. I'd like to say that this fall we're going to hold an educational event for our families, for our residents, and have Mary Lou come in. I just think this is an extremely important topic.
Great topic. Mary Lou, thanks for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. My pleasure to be here with my friend Lynn and my new friend Mike.
And when I see you in the fall, I may ask you to do a little stand-up. I understand you do some stand-up comedy, or you maybe can educate me on laughter yoga. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm curious to learn. Mary Lou Infinito with Vita Health, and check them out at vitahealth.com. She's the coordinator for community outreach. We thank her for coming on the show this morning. Mary Lou, thanks a lot for coming on. We appreciate that.
You.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're listening to FM 107 WTKF Atlantic and AM 1240 WJNC Jacksonville. The talk station time is 8 o'clock.
Pushing back against the president. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump told Fox News when it comes to what's happening in Seattle.
In Seattle, I mean, let's see what's going on in Seattle. I will tell you, if they don't straighten that situation out, we're going to straighten it out.
President Trump says that anarchists have taken over that city, and he's dealing with a situation that needs to be fixed. And if Seattle's mayor doesn't fix it, he will. But Jenna Durkin told CNN the president taking action would be illegal and...
It's more like a block party atmosphere. It's not an armed takeover.
The president went to Dallas and said he's writing an executive order, meeting with church and police leaders, also calls for economic development in minority communities and new standards for police in the use of force. Republicans are moving part of their convention in August out of Charlotte To Jacksonville, Florida, the celebrations and the president's nomination speech. GOP Mayor Lenny Curry tells Fox,
a live event in an arena with people in a safe, responsible way. It's going to be tremendous for economic development in our city.
Republicans shifted cities after North Carolina's Democratic governor would not guarantee he'd allow big crowds because of coronavirus restrictions. On this day in 2018, the big top story was a big deal President Trump was trying to make with North Korea, meeting with Kim Jong-un. Fox's Simon Owens here live on where we are 2 years later.
Dave, North Korea saying it sees little point in maintaining a personal relationship between its leader Kim Jong-un and President Trump, while the US pursues, quote, hostile policies. A statement from the North Korean foreign minister marking 2 years since that meeting when they agreed to improve relations, saying that North Korea is now intending to build up its military strength. Negotiations about the North's nuclear weapons have faltered. Dave?
America's listening to Fox News.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Some Republicans are going against President Trump in Congress in a move to rename some military bases some have long called offensive.
A bipartisan vote in the Senate Armed Services Committee advanced an annual defense policy bill that includes an amendment from Massachusetts Democrat Elizabeth Warren requiring the Pentagon to rename facilities named for Confederate generals within 3 years. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi believes there is public pressure on the issue.
The American people know these names have to go.
And House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy says he will wait to see what a final bill looks like, but adds he's not opposed to it. President Trump, in a tweet, opposed the amendment and urged Republican senators not to fall for it. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
So many things were put on hold during all the corona shutdowns, and that includes swearing in new U.S. citizens, which has led to a court case.
Immigrant rights groups filed the lawsuit in Philadelphia on behalf of residents whose applications for naturalized citizenship were already approved but have yet to recite the oath of citizenship amid the coronavirus pandemic. The oath is the final step in the citizenship process, and the lawsuit argues people waiting to recite it should be naturalized immediately so they have enough time to register to vote in the fall. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services began holding smaller naturalization ceremonies because of coronavirus restrictions, but immigration advocates say the agency is moving too slow to get through the backlog of would-be citizens eager to earn the right to vote. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stocks could rise, but not nearly as much as they fell yesterday. Dow futures have been up more than 500 the morning after an 1,861-point plunge, and the biggest sell-off since mid-March on renewed worry about the coronavirus and the economy. They are back out golfing this morning in Fort Worth, Texas, in the first PGA tournament since the corona shutdowns. Justin Rose and Harold Varner III share the lead after the first round at 7 under par. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes with news and commentary next.
Wondering how you'll finish your degree now? At Liberty University, we want to help. So when you transfer into one of our more than 100 undergraduate online programs this fall, you could earn up to $3,600 in transfer student scholarships, or more if you live in Virginia. That means you could pay less than $900 per course and transfer in up to 75% of your degree. That's up to 90 credits. Save time and money at a school that's been helping students like you for over 30 years. Learn more by texting degree to 49595. That's degree to 49595.
At this very moment, a 6-block district in Seattle is under the control of a warlord known as Simeon Raz. The Capitol Hill district has been renamed the Autonomous Zone, surrounded by barricades. It's a no-go zone. Police abandoned a nearby precinct house, giving the lawless protesters free rein. Life inside the autonomous zone is not all that good. According to some reports, leaders are extorting money from local businesses. Citizens say they're not being allowed into their homes without IDs. One resident told Fox News tents are lining city streets, armed goons walking around with AR-15s. It's complete anarchy. President Trump called on the governor to take action. He said domestic terrorists have taken over the city. It's beyond me why the city's Democrat mayor and the state's Democrat governor allowed this to happen in the first place. In effect, lawless citizens have seceded from the union. And I don't need to tell you what happened the last time somebody did that. I'm Todd Starnes.
This is Coastal Daybreak with your host, Mike McHugh.
It's totally inappropriate. Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
And now, with Coastal Daybreak, here's Mike McHugh.
8:06 on Friday morning, and looking at the radar right now, there's a lot of green and yellow blotches on my screen here. We'll find out what that all means. Let's take it up to New Bern and check in with Shane Hinton from WCTI 12. Good morning, Shane. How are you?
Good morning and happy Friday. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing wonderfully down here, and it is Friday. And I apologize ahead of time. I think Les sets you up for this because we make the we say it endearingly, but Shane brings the rain, and I'm looking at the radar, man, and it's just training up the coast here, coming towards us. What's the deal with that?
I lived up to my name. I lived up to my name. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So where is Mr. Still? Did he go back to
Like
Pennsylvania?
I told you, I still think he's trying to chase down Michael Jordan.
Well, good luck. Good luck in that.
I don't think he's found him yet. I know TMZ did, but I don't think Les has caught up with him just yet. But hopefully, he's catching up on sleep.
Okay.
Because I told him on air I did not wake up this early to fill in for him to sit there and watch me give him a forecast.
Hey, since the weather forecast for the next 25 days is the same, I can spare you the time. What time do you have to hit the sack in order to get up at your appointed hour in the wee hours? What time do you go to bed? It must be still daylight out.
Last night I said my bedtime prayers around 7:30.
Yeah.
I think I use that eye mask. The summers are harder because the sun's still up, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. And you have
winter's easy to fill in for him.
And you have a dog as well, right? Don't you? You have a pet?
I do. I have a little dog named Stratus, and I can tell you, his body has to be more confused than mine is.
Poor thing. Yeah. Yeah.
At this point, so.
Yeah, because he's going to bed when you're going to bed, and then he's going out for business at 1:00 in the morning, and then you're leaving. It's like poor Stratus.
Correct.
Poor Stratus.
Exactly. The alarm goes off at 1:45 in the morning, and then he gets to go back to bed, and then he has to. I leave the TV on so he can hear Dad while I'm at work.
Cute. That's great.
And so far, he hasn't torn up the place, so
Good.
I think the arrangement is working out kind of okay for now.
Yeah, I'm sure Stratus is happy when you come home in the morning, so that's good. It's never easy getting up at that hour. I can appreciate that. Well, tell us about this weather map. What are we looking at here? This is rain for the most part, but tell us about it, Shane.
Correct. So, on the bright side, we're not looking at any severe storms.
Okay.
We're not in a threat for severe weather today. So I know that's the first thing that pops into people's minds whenever they see an active Doppler like we've been seeing all morning, or when they hear those heavy downpours overhead.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we're talking about today, just like the chance for some heavy downpours in some areas. We're naturally going to be monitoring river levels and those rainfall totals because we could see the possibility for some flooding once you stack up what we're expected to get throughout the next few days. Some of the models have anywhere from 1 to 2 inches for the next 2 days. But then we have another low pressure system that could develop by Monday, which brings additional rain from Monday to Wednesday. So that's going to be the number one thing that we're monitoring very closely over the next week.
Now, is the skies, is the overcast with us for this period of time, or will people perhaps see a peak of sunshine and some blue sky? Not to get totally depressed with it all being wet and rainy and overcast. What do you think?
It's not going to be complete Seattle weather for the next couple of days.
Or
I think
Chaz.
today's probably going to be the cloudiest.
Okay.
I think that there could be some peaks of sunshine for Saturday and Sunday. I think Monday will also be cloudy again as that low pressure system starts to make its way closer to the area. But I was seeing some areas this morning. I'm taking a look at Chocowinity right now, where it is overcast, but you can see some peaks of light behind the clouds. But the bright side is it's still Friday.
It is still
regardless of how
Friday.
much rain we get tomorrow is Saturday.
That's right. It's the weekend. So, but your dashboard on WCTI12.com, it goes out for 7 days, out goes next Thursday. But you're still showing some peaks of sunshine on Thursday. So I guess the rain, would you say, Shane, the rain is with us for this weekend and the early part of next week. But it looks like the chance of rain begins to subside come Tuesday, as far as your percentage goes.
Correct, which is ironic because I think that's my next day off. So once again, I think I'm pretty true to form.
I think we just solved that riddle. So when Les comes back on Tuesday, we can expect sunshine because rain and Shane will have go back to his normal routine. So
I go to hibernate with my dog and catch up on sleep.
Good for you. What are your normal hours? I see you on TV, but what are your normal hours at the station?
I do not have normal hours.
No normal hours. Okay.
I would say at this point. I've been doing all of our weekend shows, both Saturdays, Sunday mornings, evenings, and nights for the past year.
Mm-hmm.
And then typically, due to COVID, doing some online digital meteorology on Thursdays and Fridays. And then catching up on sleep Monday through Wednesday after the 24 hours of work on the weekends.
Well, I enjoy watching you. I enjoy watching you do your craft on television. So I appreciate that. So it's nice.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
One last question. I'll let you go. It's 8:12 in the morning. I know you got things to do. Where did you go to school? Where did you learn meteorology?
I went to school at the University of Miami down in Florida.
Nice.
So tropical weather is kind of a forte of mine.
Yeah. Nice school. Well, we're glad you're up in this neck of the woods here. So very good. Shane, I'll let you go. And thank you. Thanks for the weather. Thanks for the rain, Shane.
You're welcome. Y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe.
All right, Shane Hinton, living up to his name. Shane brings the rain. It's 8:12, and check out WCTI 12. Their weather forecast goes out for 7 days, and check out Shane on television and catch him before he goes home to Stratus and his pet dog. They're great. Thank you, Shane. We're going to take a short break here. It's 8:13. I'm joined with Richard Clark in the studio here, along with Ross. We'll come back with some banter after